the keeper is closed down, so Barcelona move the ball indirectly into the centre-back. The attacking midfielder then moves towards the ball and becomes an option to pass to in the centre, but he can't turn around as pressure is quickly coming from behind, so he lays it off into the holding midfielder, now with space to switch play to the right flank. We see this same pattern on the right wing, then one more time right outside Atletico Madrid's box, finally leading to Dani Olmo slotting past the keeper to make it 2-1. In just 22 seconds, Barcelona have gone from one end of the pitch to the other, and have used the same passing combination 4 different times. Barcelona are certainly not the only team to have figured out the dangers of third-man combinations. It's one of the most simple tactics in football, but it requires perfect timing, positioning, and a collective understanding. The third man is so difficult to defend because it exploits a fundamental weakness both in how teams defend and human psychology. There are essentially 2 ways a defender can mark a player. They can shadow mark, so block off the direct passing lane by staying in front of the player, or they can mark the player from behind and track their movements. But they cannot do both at the same time, so by involving a third player, it becomes much easier to bypass this defender. Secondly, when a ball gets played beyond a defender, instinctively they will turn to face the ball, and will start running in that direction. And in that split second is when the third man becomes an option, moving past the opponent in their blind spot and receiving the ball already facing goal. So let's break it down, starting with build-up. From build-up against the high press is where these combinations are easiest to spot, but it's also the area that can have the most dangerous consequences if not done correctly. In this position, the vast majority of the time, the whole team will be marked from behind, so the idea is to free a player to receive the ball with space ahead of them. Firstly, let's say they want to use the most common move, which is a third-man pass into the centre-back. For this to work, he needs to wait until the pressure is at its highest. If he doesn't wait long enough, then once the holding midfielder wants to pass it back to the centre-back, then there's not enough space for him to do so. Second, this player in the centre needs to recognise where the pressure is coming from. If the pressure on the keeper came from the left, then the ball needs to go to the left centre-back. If it came from the right, then vice versa. Third, this centre-back needs to be quick to give the team an option. If he passes it to the keeper and then doesn't move up the pitch, then the holding midfielder doesn't have anyone to pass to. For example, teams doing this incorrectly can be seen with Pisa in the Serie A. Here, they successfully lure the press onto the keeper, but the centre-back doesn't give the team an option. So the holding midfielder is in a tricky position. If the centre-back had shifted further out wide or slightly further up the pitch, then it would have created a much more dangerous situation. But by staying relatively still, there are pretty much no more options for this player here. A team that does this well is Como under Fabregas, with the centre-backs ready to receive this layoff and push forward. One detail that makes a huge difference is how holding midfielders are positioned, and they will try to stay as close to the first pressing line as possible. It seems counterintuitive, but in reality you're creating a huge overload, and it can create big gaps if not dealt with correctly. In this example, we can see how the holding midfielder moves with the opponent's first line, and the opposition's 2 midfielders are all the way back here. If they followed these movements all the way up here, then it would simply create a more dangerous gap further up the pitch. This layoff is still very difficult to intercept, even if the player is followed closely. So in this area of the pitch, the aim of the game is to attract pressure so you can free an outfield player. Then once you've successfully lured the opposition into this position, then it can create a domino effect of other defenders having to adapt. In recent years, long goal kicks have made a sort of comeback, but it's not the same type of goal kick that was popular 20 years ago. These long balls are often much softer, looking to play it into the striker, dropping off the defensive line and finding a third-man combination in the centre. The timing here is crucial as well. The players in the middle will likely be marked, so the striker needs to understand the right pocket of space to lay the ball off. The objective is always the same: to manipulate the opponent's shape and strike where they aren't looking. So next time you see a player receiving the ball between the lines with the whole pitch ahead of them, they're not just lucky, they're the third man. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.